All right, so welcome to our unit on surface area of prisms. So there's two different kinds of surface area. There's going to be lateral surface area and total surface area. Okay, so what lateral means is sides only. So not the top, not the bottom. We always define the top and the bottom as whatever is the unusual shape. So for example, in this guy, I see triangles, and I would call these guys my top and my bottom, also referred to as my bases. Same thing over here. If I notice that this guy is a little bit different or there's something about it that's out of line, I would use that shape. But here I see that the two square sides, or what looks like a square side, are going to be my top and my bottom. Same thing here. I see the triangles, so I'm going to use those as my top and my bottom, my bases. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started and go ahead and run through a few of these items. So, so for any prism, triangular prism, rectangular prism, the formula for lateral surface area is P times H. The formula for total surface area is PH plus 2 capital B. Noticing that this is just going to be me adding my lateral surface area, this guy up here, with my area of my base, but both of them. Okay? P is going to represent the perimeter of my base, and the large letter B represents the area of my base. So, a triangular prism has a base shape like a triangle. So, to find total surface area or lateral surface, total surface area or my B value, my base, we need to use the area of a triangle formula, which is 1/2 BH, and sometimes write it like this. Same exact thing. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at our very first example. So again, I identified these triangles as my bases. I'm going to go ahead and just outline those just to remind myself that I'm using that as the base. So I need to find the perimeter. So I see that these guys are going to be congruent. So that means that this side up here is also 10 centimeters. So step number 1, I need to find my perimeter. I'm going to add up all my sides. All right, I have my perimeter. Step number 2, I'm going to find my height. So I look at it and I say, all right, well, this item is 11 centimeters tall. Now I can go ahead and do step 3. My lateral surface area is going to be equal to P times H, which is 24 times 11. And if I put that in my calculator, that would give me 264. Yeah, 264. Let's verify that by typing it in. So 24 times 11, 264. All right. There's my lateral surface area. So I'm going to go ahead and clear up just a little bit more space here. All right, so I have my lateral surface area, but I want to continue on to find my total surface area. So step 4, I'm going to find the area of my base. For this one, it's 1/2 base times height. So I'm going to look at my triangle here. I always look for which one is going to be the easiest. So I see here that this could be a height because if I use this 10 as the base of my triangle, I'd have to calculate the height. I don't want to do all that. So I'm going to use this as my base. This is my height. So 1/2 times base times height. And I get an area of my base of 24. Now I can go ahead and calculate my total surface area, which is going to be my lateral surface area plus 2 times the area of my base. So I can plug in all those numbers, and let's drop those into the calculator. All right. So my total surface area is 312 centimeters squared. Simple. We always follow the same steps for any type of prism, even a cylinder. We're doing the same exact thing. The formula might change a little bit depending on what the shape is, but it's always the same process. So let's take a look at this guy. Calculate the total surface area. So first things first, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and identify my bases. Here they are. Notice how in this triangle, they already calculated its height for me. Okay? So, again, we're going to follow those same exact steps. First step, I'm going to find the perimeter of my base. So, I'm going to trace all along here. 14.3 plus 14.3 plus 12. And I'll go ahead and drop those into my calculator. And I get 40.6. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to step 2. Let's locate our height. I see here if this is considered the bottom of my object, it is going to be 16 inches tall. So I'll write that down. All right, step 3. Let's go back. I'm going to go ahead and calculate my lateral surface area, which is going to be equal to that perimeter times my height. Let's go ahead and type that in. Hold on. And I got my lateral surface area. 649.6. Now I want to continue forth in calculating my total surface area. Step 4, area of the base. I'm going to focus on just the triangle part. I'm going to do 1/2 little b, little h. I'm going to call this guy my little base. Here is my height for my triangle. So 1/2 times 12 times 13. So I'll drop that in my calculator. And I end up with 78 for my area of my base. Now I can go ahead and go to my final step. Total surface area is going to be equal to my lateral surface plus 2 times the area of my base. And I'll scooch this over just so we'll have a little bit more room to work. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in those values. So total surface area is going to be equal to 649.6 plus 2 times 78. Let's go ahead and drop that in our calculator. 649.6 plus 2 times 78. And I ended up with a total surface area of 805.6 inches squared. And I know it's inches squared because here they told me inches. And I also know that it's a square because it's an area. Area is always something squared. All right, let's try another one. Very similar, a rectangular prism has a base shaped like a rectangle. So to find the area of my base, I need to use the area of a rectangle formula, which is length times width. Okay? So we're going to go through those exact same steps. So I'm going to go ahead and clear up a little bit of space here. All right. Whoops. Go ahead and do that. All right. So, first step. Let's go ahead and calculate my perimeter. So first thing I need to do is I need to identify the base that I'm going to use. So these guys are the ones that stick out to me. And I notice that because they are the same, I can identify which side has the same measurement. Both of these down here are going to be 14.2, and both of these guys are going to be 11. So I can go ahead and find the perimeter of my base. I'm going to have two of these 14.2s. So 2 times 14.2 plus 2 times 11. Let's put that in our calculator. 2 times 14.2 plus 2 times 11. 50.4. All right. So I have my perimeter. Step number 2. Now I'm going to locate the height of my object. So if I consider this to be my bases, that means that this object is laying on its side. If you imagine a person, because the base would be like my feet and my head, laying down, this would be how tall they were. So my height is 17.5. Now I can calculate my lateral surface area. I'm going to multiply my perimeter times my height. So 50.4 multiplied by 17.5. Let's drop that in our calculator. And I end up with the lateral surface area of 882 inches squared. But I don't want to stop there. I want to continue forth and find my total surface area. So next step, I find the area of my base. Well, here my bases are rectangles, so it's just length times width. So I do 11 times 14.2. Let's go ahead and drop that in our calculator. 11 times 14.2. So here I got an area of my base of 156.2 inches squared. All right, very last step. Let's calculate that total surface area, which is going to be my lateral surface plus 2 times the area of my base. So 882 plus 2 times 156.2. I'm going to put that in my calculator. And I end up with a total surface area of 1,194.4 inches squared. Simple. Same exact steps every single time. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at just one more example. So they are asking us only to calculate lateral or total, but I'm just going to go through the whole process because it makes more sense to do it that way. So first, let's start off by identifying my base so we can figure out what my perimeter is. Well, it looks like these would be the shapes that kind of stick out, so I'll consider that my base. So that means that would be my height. So my perimeter is going to be equal to, and let me change colors here. I'll draw them in. All right. So the perimeter of one of these is going to be 2 times 4.2 plus 2 times 10.1. I'm going to drop that in my calculator. 2 times 4.2 plus 2 times 10.1. And the perimeter of this base is 28.6. So now I can go ahead and identify that height. And we already did 15.7 centimeters. Step 3. Let's calculate that lateral surface area. I have to multiply my perimeter and my height together. 28.6 times 15.7. So 28.6 times 15.7. My lateral surface area is equal to 449.02. And this is going to be centimeters squared because it's an area. Now I want to go ahead and go to step 4 to continue so I can calculate my total surface area. In this step, I need to find the area of my base. I identified these bases as rectangles, so I'm going to do length times width. 4.2 times 10.1. Let's put that in our calculator. 4.2 times 10.1. And I end up with an area of my base of 42.42. Now I can finally get to my final step of total surface area, which is going to be equal to my lateral surface plus 2 times the area of my base. If I plugged in the values that I have already, like this, I can use my calculator to get this. So 449.02 plus 2 times 42.42. And I end up with 533.86 for my total surface area. Of course, this is going to be in centimeters squared because it is an area. All right. So that's all I have for our examples today. I want you guys to go ahead and get started on your assignment, and I'll see you